Tell us what's going on.
Well, Turkey is at it. Turkey has been at it all these years, either in the form of a denial or in the form of oppressive persuasion as to allies, so-called allies of Turkey, who happen to be the so-called allies of the United States of America. And the latest spectacle is the allowance of the offensive and aggressive and occupying forces into the Armenian town and villages of Kessab from within the border, from the Turkish side of the border. My trip recently to the Middle East, to the centers that were housing the refugees of Kessab, my multiple interviews and my dialogue and investigation that was conducted has unequivocally concluded, as have many non-governmental organizations, that the complicity of the Republic of Turkey is beyond any doubt. Literally, we have had assistance, aiding, abetting, and accomplice culpability what has occurred to Kessab. Now, what is the solution? I strongly suggest that the powers that be utilize the internationally very well-known concept of demilitarizing the region of Kessab. We have done it. It has been done in south of Lebanon, and it really is not something novel. It's not my idea. It is the idea of far brighter people than I. But it is something that has been in place for over 50 years at the very location that I'm speaking about. Kessab is an area at the border of Turkey on the Syrian side. There has not been Syrian army presence at that area, nor have there been a Turkish army presence except for border guards. How convenient it is that the Turkish border guards decided to leave their posts only moments later to have these very posts be passed by the aggressive forces who came into the towns and villages of Kessab, who demoralized and dehumanized the very occupants and inhabitants of Kessab who have been there for hundreds of years. When we talk about Armenian genocide, when we talk about never again, regrettably, I must say, it is yet again taking place. Those who think that genocide is only limited to killing and beheading and torture are mistaken. Those are components of genocide, but so too is displacement and dispossession of people from their lands, from their homes, and from their rightful place where they have been for many centuries.
Let me ask you a question, Garo. Was there any indications of the U.S. assisting in military, as we've been hearing about, military aid to the insurgency or to the opposition?
Well, I could tell you that those on the ground did not discuss their knowledge, if they had any, as to such assistance, but those of us who are living in the free world know all too well that the United States of America, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and many other nations are, in addition to the Republic of Turkey, aiding, assisting, and arming the so-called rebels who are supposedly advancing the will of the people. Well, that simply is not the case, because my dialogue with many on the ground revealed that the will of the people is to live in peace, to live among one another, with one another, as they have done so, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their religious beliefs, and regardless of their national origin. So, what's at play here is certainly not advancement of the will of the people of Syria, and for that matter, those of the various diverse nationalities and religious beliefs, but rather it is the work of powers, and dare I say superpowers, who are meddling yet again in the affairs of a peace-loving people of Syria and the peace-loving people, the Armenians of Kessab.
Last question is, we American citizens, since obviously our government is also involved in what you just said, do you have any recommendations of what common citizens can do to make a change?
Common citizens ought to, number one, vote with their conscience when they elect their representatives. Common citizens, for following up with their conscience, ought to be heard and speak their minds and reach their respective representatives and express their concerns, and not do so as an action alert, just once responding to a request to be heard or signing their name onto a list, but rather sustained and continued and ever increasing polite pressure to be heard and to keep the voices up and to keep the message not limited to a rhetoric, but rather solid with substance until such time that those voices, those concerns, and those requests and demands are heard and acted upon. Thank you.